What's up, fellas? We are going to talk about Week 1 NFL. We're just going to kind of do quarterbacks. Like every other year that we've been doing this, we'll do a lot of extra information for Week 1. Talk about it, talk it over with y'all, get some of your guys' opinions. Week 1's always super exciting. I always end up playing light and having a good week 1, which means maybe this year I won't play chicken money. But that being said, I'm sure I probably still will do that. I'm just excited to start talking NFL, which it's coming really quickly.
Yeah, it's coming real fast. I'm excited to talk it over too, man. Let's get it.
If you catch this one early, I got one spot open in the $250 fantasy league I run. I'm looking for another player. Bellman is our defending champion, taking me out in the first round by like 0.3 last year. I'm still a little bit salty over that one, in case you hadn't told by that one. And I got a couple spots left in a $100 league. If anybody's interested, just reach out to me, and I'll let you know if it's still available.
I'm pumped, man.
Yes, a lot to talk about right here, including the different packages we have on sale for NFL this year. The NFL package right now is normally $99. We have it on sale for $80. And I'll even do this right now. You purchase it through the website for the next 24 hours. So up until, we'll just say, NBA lock on Friday, I'll refund you an extra $10 if you buy it and kind of reference this video up until NBA lock tomorrow. Otherwise, it's a great time to get a monthly package too, because you'll get all the sports going right now, and we're real heavy into NBA and MLB for the next month.
Yeah, I mean, literally cannot beat that the monthly membership right now. Not sure if you just saw Anibal Sanchez straight fumble that ball.
I did not, but all right, man. We got NBA starting in an hour and a half. We got baseball in the background. We're here to talk football, though. It's going to be tough to concentrate on this one. So I'm going to be honest, guys. This is first look. We will come out with a more precise and exact video of what our actual thoughts are towards the end. I just kind of wanted to get on the horn with you, man, and start talking this stuff out, because there's a lot to go through, being we got some new guys in some new places and things like that. Looking through the Vegas odds and where we think we want to go in this situation. We'll start up top. Like, if you have the money, I mean, I just assume Lamar Jackson is going to be your highest scoring quarterback is the easiest way to bet. It's hard to say he's the highest scoring quarterback, but if you have the money, he's so safe with those legs of his.
He is. New year, you never know what's going to happen, but I mean, listen, he averaged almost 10 more DK points than anyone else last year.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Those legs make him safe. I think my thoughts on Lamar, and I'm sure you'll probably be with me on this one, and it's hard for you to roster him because you're a Cleveland guy. You don't want to root against your own team. I want to play out with the rest of the slate. If I have the money, I'll pay for Lamar Jackson. If there isn't just cheap value there, because I haven't done enough dissecting yet, it's going to be hard to roster an 8K quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't feel the necessity to pay up there. But you're right. If I had to pick one guy that was going to be the leading, point scorer for QBs, it would be Lamar.
Yeah, and if we get value, because week 1, sometimes you get like a running back that goes down and you get this chalk $3,500 running back, whatever it might be, and then it just becomes easy just to lock him in there. Those legs are a safety net. Like, it's such a high floor with the ability to scramble.
Truth.
All right, so I was looking at Russell Wilson, number 2 overall at 7K. I don't think I'll get there. I like Russ, respect Russ a lot. Just not necessarily. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's going to be a guy that gets a ton of attention from me week 1.
Why?
There's other guys I feel like I can pay down a little bit to get to. And if I'm going to pay up to near the top, I think I'll get all the way up to Lamar Jackson. I got other guys below him that will get through a bunch of these guys that I'd rather use. Not that I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's a guy I'm going to use week 1.
Okay, I get that. I mean, I might be slightly more interested than you are, but I'm not like running there because I'll probably spend down.
Yeah, there's plenty of play down options. He's got those legs that, always give him a little bit. One thing I have noticed from Russ, and maybe this was just last year, early in the season until I feel like he needs it, the rushing wasn't quite as big of a thing. Later in the year when they needed the dub, I saw him use his legs just a little bit more. And that takes away from a part of his upside that he gives you.
For sure. I will say, though, it's a good spot in Atlanta.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Atlanta defense it's nothing to be scared of, right?
Right.
All right, so next down we get to Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. The cost here is nominal. You think either of these guys gets a bunch of love week 1? It's got a higher total. We got a couple of Hall of Fame quarterbacks going after one another. You think this game gets love, and do you think either of these quarterbacks get more love than the other one?
I do think that this game gets love, and I think both quarterbacks get a decent amount of love. Don't you?
I would think so. It's got one of the higher totals on the table. It's projected to be a close game. We're currently sitting at a projected point total of about 49.5. I'm guessing that gets up to 50 by next week. It should be a higher scoring game. If you could only play one of these fellers, who would it be? Would you be looking at Drew Brees or Tom Brady?
It's funny because I like the guy right in the middle of that, Matt Ryan, more than either of those guys.
Okay, all right. But back to the question, Brees or Brady?
If I had to play one Brees or Brady, it would be Brees at home against probably the weaker defense. I trust New Orleans D more at home. Brady is new there. It's a tough one, man. Don't you agree?
Right, because I get all the reasons people might think that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to light the world on fire this year. They're all logical reasons. I can't argue with it. But he is 43. This is their first game together. They signed Fournette yesterday, which, just another reason they might run the ball more than we think they will. What's his chemistry with his receivers? He's one of the smarter quarterbacks we've ever seen. So if you think he just comes out gunning, I can't fault you for having that opinion. Part of me is like, I'd like to see it first.
Yeah, I don't fault that either. I mean, I don't think I'll play either of these guys, to be quite honest.
Okay. Have you been looking through this one a bunch? Because I really just cracked her open today for the first time.
No.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm sure, again, guys, I want to reiterate, we will come back through this one early part of next week and go back for it. This is kind of a first looks video. More than anything, it's just kind of to kick the rust off and start talking football.
Yeah, we just want to get on here and start talking NFL.
All right. Below that, okay, Matt Ryan, what's your big love for Matt Ryan this week? I know you like offense in the Seattle-Atlanta game a lot.
I like offense in this game, and I just think he's going to be kind of like slept on in between Brady and Breeze. But he's been there. I think Atlanta might sneak up on people this year, especially offensively. They're not getting a ton of love, but we know who Atlanta is. They're going to move the ball. We know who Matt Ryan is. He's going to move the ball. I think Atlanta's offense is good this year. I'm not scared of Seattle's defense. I just like this spot. We like domes. Nothing about Matt Ryan here is has me not on him.
So you're not scared off by Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Richard Sherman? Oh, never mind. This isn't 6 years ago.
Precisely.
Okay, I got you. I probably wouldn't end up there myself, but I understand why you like him. He's a very reliable play on a weekly basis. Is one of the things you have to like about Matt Ryan. And even though they got Gurley there this year, I just can't envision a world where Gurley's getting 25 carries per game.
No chance.
Okay. Drop down below there, Josh Allen. I'm a bigger Josh Allen guy than you are. So I know this is not your guy. I'm probably more likely to play him than you are. I just don't think that I could, in good conscience, not go with the upside and intrigue of Tom Brady for the same price.
I'm with you. I won't play him here, but I could understand why some people are.
Yeah, again, I'm a bigger Josh Allen guy than you are, so I didn't think it would be your pick. Drop down below there. I like the idea of Kyler Murray this year, but I'm not going to play him at San Fran week 1 against that defense. Just not my guy.
No, I mean, give me Carson Wentz is the guy I'm definitely looking at here.
Yeah, and so I saw yesterday he had a soft tissue injury, but I read up on that real quickly before. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal, so I'm with you. He actually has some receivers this year, too.
Yeah, exactly. This is a nice range, I think, of quarterbacks that you can look at.
Have you heard anything about what their plan is with Jalen Hurts this year? I heard some things that he might get a little Taysom Hill action, or if that's just some scuttlebutt that has no actual chance of being true.
He might, but he's a future pick. I mean, listen, Wentz is their QB, and I'm not going to worry about Jalen Hurts, to be honest.
Right. Okay. So we got Alshon Jeffrey. Decline to comment.
Yeah.
Wide up your man, the pup list. Okay. That's something to watch for me. You know what I mean? Like, I like him better if Alshon Jeffrey is playing. Carson Wentz has proved he can do it with a collection of nobodies.
Yeah.
But I like him a lot better if you got Alshon Jeffrey out there.
Rieger, their number 1 pick, is probably out. But I like Deshaun Jackson being in because that spreads the field for Ertz and Goddard.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something I think we come back to. Miles Sanders listened to his question. Well, I doubt that's any real big thing to be concerned about for the time being. But Carson Wentz was also a guy I was looking at. Below that, you got my boy Aaron Rodgers, and I hate to say this, but no how, no way. That's just not my guy. I'd much rather use the running backs.
Same. And a guy I was thinking about that just came out as the starter is Cam Newton.
How can it not be? I'm sorry. Like, sometimes you and I have talked about this for years, and I think people read in too much into intangibles and storylines and things like that. But sometimes for me, it just works. I love the storyline. We know that if they play well, that Belichick has no problem running up the score. You know he wants to showcase this guy and show the world that he's got the better of it. I like this a lot, actually.
To be honest, I like everything to do with New England, like this year, this week, everything. Like, I think they're getting slept on. Belichick's getting slept on big. Cam Newton getting slept on big. Like, I think that New England could surprise a lot of people this year.
Like, I don't know what to expect out of as far as him like scrambling and running and things like that. But if you get him down in the 5-yard line, I feel like knowing what Bill has done in the past as far as showboating and running up the score, I think he's got no issues if things go really well running up the score, or at least just making Cam look like a superstar in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you on that one. Obviously, most of you guys probably knew that by now, but they did announce earlier today that in an expected move that he's going to be the starter.
Yep.
All right. After that, Phillip Rivers. Nah, man, you got to. Jacksonville sucks now, but I got to see it with him first.
Yeah, same.
Same thing goes with Teddy Bridgewater. I like him as a real life quarterback. He's not going to be my fantasy darling.
Yeah, same.
Derek Carr. Nah.
Just not on the slate on the road.
Minshew. Nah. Burrow. Not with that pass rush. I got to see it first, right?
Yeah, no thanks. I mean, not on this big of a slate. No.
I'm not really into Garoppolo as a fantasy quarterback personally. I like the idea of a running attack with San Francisco, but this guy really only had 2 really good games last year, so I don't think I'm going to start the year by trying to take a chance on him.
Yeah, same. I mean, honestly, the guy I would think about down here is Trubisky.
I mean, assuming he's the starter or Foles right next to him. They said that they're not going to announce a starter week 1 until like later in the week. So what's your gut feeling on this one? Do you have anything?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really have an idea. It feels weird that you would go trade for Foles and then not give him the job.
But yeah, but I don't think Foles is like the type of. I don't disagree with you, but I also don't think Foles is like Tom Brady or like, you know what I mean? Trubisky is the guy they want.
Bold statement there, Bellman. Are you sure you want to back that one up?
I think that Trubisky is the guy they want to be the starter still, even though they traded for Foles. So that's why I understand it.
Yeah, and to the point of that would be, do you trust anything about the Bears quarterback situation as far as what they're doing? I can remember a few years ago, didn't they run out and get that Sims kid from Tampa Bay and then go ahead to try to move up in the draft?
I don't even know, but I'll say this to your point. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to lie there on week 1. Detroit's not good, but maybe Detroit's better this year. So, yeah, no thanks.
I don't mind picking on Detroit's defense right now. There's a lot of, I don't know. This is when you have no quarterback or when you have 2 quarterbacks, it's hard to have any faith in one of them, I guess.
I feel like one of these years, too, Detroit is going to be good.
I think there's a lot of Detroit fans who have been saying that for a while.
Yeah, I'm not a Detroit fan, but yeah.
All right, below that, you get into the Miami quarterbacks. So it looks like, again, man, definitely knocking off the dirt on this one, or knocking off the rust on this. And I don't know. I'm not really trying to go after New England's defense.
No, I think the top option down here would be Haskins. If you're going like real cheap, because he's a starter and he's like this cheap. That's all it is.
Showed me nothing last year. What do you think about him? I know you know him better from his college days than I do. You think he takes this big step year 2?
I do. I don't think he's ever going to be like Aaron Rodgers, but who is?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, true. I like the cut of his jib. So I think he takes a nice step this year. I don't think the Redskins are good, but I actually think that they might move the ball more than people think because their defense isn't going to be good. They're going to have to be throwing. Like, I'm not going to use Haskins here, but he's cheaper than like a lot of the reserve quarterbacks, and I would use him over like basically anyone on this page, I think.
Okay. Any thoughts on Tyrod Taylor, or did how terrible he looked last year or 2 years ago with Cleveland just say like, nah, this isn't my guy ever again?
Yeah, no thanks. I had a draft last night. I took Keenan Allen. I got him for a really nice value, but I didn't even feel great about that.
I got that. The one thing that he does have going for him is there's decent offensive skill players around him, and he's playing Cincinnati.
And with Keenan Allen, like he can do the checkdowns.
Sure, and with Tyrod, he can run a little bit. He's playing Cincy. He can drop it off to Eckler, who can make big plays. Look, he's not going to be my guy, but It's fun to talk about some of these guys since we haven't talked football in so long.
It would also be so Browns like for Tyrod Taylor to go to the Chargers and now be a stud,
That would be very Browns like, and you're allowed to say that as a Cleveland resident.
I would definitely, if he wasn't like already established before his Browns time, like, he came from Buffalo. We know who he is. That's not really going to happen. But if it had been a guy that was only on the Browns, I could definitely see it happening.
Oh, you talk negatively about your team, but when they haven't given you any reason to speak otherwise, why couldn't you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes it's right to be hard on your people. I was hard on Giannis today on the NBA Members Only show for good reason.
Yeah, exactly. He deserves it. All right, well, we see cornerback pretty similarly, at least like, a little bit of ways out. I like the Cam Newton call a lot.
Yeah, this has me hyped to look into this a little bit further, though. Kind of start looking through this slate. And then once you start looking through the other positions and figuring out the value at, running back and wide receiver and tight end and things like that, then you decide, because like if you have the money, and this worked for us so much last year in a lot of our better weeks for DFS, like if you can afford it, like Lamar Jackson he scored under 20 once last year against Pittsburgh. That's the only time. It's a safe source of points if you can afford it.
And Pittsburgh's a tough matchup.
Right. What's your thoughts on Cleveland's defense this year? I know you had mentioned some struggles they're going to have to me like last week.
Yeah, they're injured. I don't think too high of their D. They have Myles Garrett, who's a stud. They've got good pieces. I don't think they're going to be like the worst D in the world, but I'm definitely not using Lamar because of them.
Right. Like he averaged 30 points a game against Cleveland last year, which basically was his average on the season. So, right in line with what you would expect out of him. The legs are such a safety net. And he's coming off of an embarrassing loss in the playoffs last year. If you're looking for any extra motivation that you maybe want to get them off to a good start and make them look good to begin the season, it's not a bad spot for that. If I have the money, it's just an easy way to go. And then I think you dip down to Matt Ryan. I'm contemplating the Drew Brees, Tom Brady guys. We both have a little interest in Carson Wentz and then Cam Newton.
Yeah, and just speaking on Cam Newton for a second, like there is a world in which Cam Newton is better than Tom Brady right now. Do you agree?
Man, as a notorious Tom Brady hater, I don't know if I could go that far, though.
Really?
I haven't seen Cam play in so long.
But you don't think there's any chance that Cam could be better than Brady this year? I do.
You're talking fantasy? Real-life quarterback?
I think that New England, we've talked about this, I think New England could be better than Tampa this year.
I think that's possible, but from a fantasy perspective, I got to see how much he's willing to run right now. He is an older player now at this point. He's been coming off of, a decade straight of injuries or whatever we're dealing with. He doesn't have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski to make his life easier.
That's true.
Their receivers there are pathetic. Ranked, I believe, only because I've heard Skip Bayless's dumbass mention it about 33 times, ranked 32nd out of 32 teams as far as separation last year.
Yeah, they're not good. They've got Edelman, and that's about it.
Yeah, and even he, I'm wondering how good Edelman is without Brady, because Brady's kind of a wide receiver, which is why, I'm not sure how good Brady will be with Evans. You love Evans, and Evans is a stud, but is that connection there with those guys?
Or how good will Brady be without Edelman?
Possibly. I'm a Brady hater, so yeah. I wear it on my sleeve. I can't knock this conversation in the slightest, and it makes me intrigued. I hope you're right.
Yeah, interested. I can't wait to watch.
The only side of this is, if Brady's not great this year in Tampa, I can't, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt, the fact that he's, in his mid-40s.
Okay, well, what do you mean benefit of the doubt?
I got to cut him a little bit of slack. If he's not as good, I can't just be like, see, he left New England. He's not as good as he used to be. Dude, he's 43.
Oh, just because if he's not great this year, that doesn't mean that, he wasn't great in years past. But
10 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
Right? Nobody wants to be harder on him than I do. But, if he's not great this year, I can't just be like, oh, obviously it was all Belichick. The dude's in his mid-40s. He's been playing in the NFL now since the early 1700s. Let's cut him a little bit of slack.
I'm with you.
So, okay. I think our short list is pretty similar. If you got the money, Lamar Jackson is safest thing as they come. We get down to this Brady versus Brays and Ryan category. We can definitely get on board any of those guys. And then Carson Wentz and Cam Newton are the guys that are tickling our fancy right now. This is all subject to change. We are over, 9-10 days away from kickoff right here. So things could definitely change in this situation. But That's how we see it so far.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep, guys, all this stuff is up sale on the website. Let's go win ourselves a bunch of cash this year. Been riding hot since DFS came back, and let's keep it going.
Let's get it.